On today's episode of the Hoop Dreams podcast, man, we got special guests, man. We got a young brother that's out here doing some incredible things. Let me tell y'all something about this young brother here. He is studying law at Howard University. I ain't talking about he playing law. He's studying law at Howard University. Get this, while playing Division I basketball. Yeah, he a Bison, y'all. Much love to that Howard University B-ball squad. And here's the interesting thing about this, AG. This brother here, man, is just beginning. I mean, just beginning. So he might be the only person I know of that is studying law and hooping at the same time. I don't know too many other brothers doing that. But we want to welcome to the show, man, a young man that I think that is champion the cause seriously about what a student athlete should be. We want to welcome to the Hoop Dreams podcast, none other than Mr. Joshua Strong. I'm Will Gates, and that's my dog.
Arthur Agee in the building. Welcome to the show, Jay.
What's up, y'all? Appreciate that intro, Will.
Oh, absolutely, man. First of all, I just want to, I gotta start here first. You know, you out there in Washington, the DC area. There's two schools out there holding it down. I just want to know which school is the real HU. That's all I want to know. Which one is the
Man, come
real
on, man.
HU?
You know what it is, man. It's Howard, man. The Mecca. And they call it Mecca for a reason. We split with them boys this year, but we the real HU.
Hey, how is that rivalry though, man? I mean, that rivalry got to be like from everything, not just basketball, but just from students to colors to, I mean, everything. How is that rivalry?
Yeah, like, cause it's my first year at Howard, so I see it right away. Our first game against Hampton, so they talking about what happened last year. They like, man, when we playing, like, ain't no basketball, it's a war. And then they beat us in football this year. They beat us in football, so we was like, basketball team, we had to get our get back for that. There's people on social media going crazy, so it's definitely like it lives up to the hype when you're there. Especially when we played them again just recently, and that game was wild. Like that was in the Prudential Center, all that they packed that joint out. It was lit.
Oh, they
And see
had to
them two.
move it.
Yeah,
Hey,
it was like this Legacy Classic, this HBCU joint. It was lit.
yeah, that the Michael B. Jordan thing?
Yeah.
Okay. And see, the crazy thing about that rivalry is that the alumni comes out for those. Man,
Man,
what?
man, and they the ones who be talking the most. They come into the locker
Yeah.
room giving us pregame speeches. They like, y'all don't know what's at stake right now. They be like,
Yep.
okay,
Like it
Hey,
ain't
hey,
it ain't
which
just like it ain't just a regular game. Like you said,
mm-hmm.
like this shit is war. Like we're able to talk about this if we beat y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If we beat them for the whole year, and then whenever we see
mm-hmm.
any of them Hampton guys or girls or whatever, we'll be like, we kicked y'all ass. You know what's up?
absolutely. Hey,
Not facts.
who was some of them alumni that walked up in that room with you, man?
Man, they probably gonna be mad because I can't even remember. There's so many of them. I know. It was a couple people from Jersey because it was in Jersey, so it was a couple councilmen who from Howard who came in and spoke to us. But it's been so many people I can't even keep track. I know we got like every day or a lot of home games we got what's called like a captain of a day. So a lot of them is Hustle alum, or not Hustle, but Howard alum who come back and speak to us and people with connections with the program. But that day it was like 3-4 people in there, so it was like
I can only imagine, man. We got so much to talk about and so little time uh, to talk about it because Howard is such a historical university, and typically we start the show off. AG and I, we ask you, have you seen the movie Hoop Dreams? But you're a little young, so there is no expectation on this end if you've seen it or not. But really quickly, had you seen the movie?
I seen it when I was younger, but I don't remember too much of it. Like I be seeing clips every now and then. You know what I'm saying? Like when Will was a little sophomore getting the buckets. You know what I'm saying? Had like 17 something like that at halftime. I remember some clips from that. That joint long though. I remember I was looking back like I was like it's like 3 hours. It was
Yeah,
got a lot of.
yeah.
But nah, it's definitely part of the culture. I'm gonna have to double back
Yes,
and watch it
sir.
again now that I'm older.
I tell you, man, that. Ooh, you taking me back on that one, man. Ooh, you know we celebrating 30 years, man. So you really
Okay, that's what's
taking
up.
me back.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Ag, Josh probably said 30 years, man. I wasn't even born. You know what's
Wasn't even thought
what's
of.
going on? That's right. That's right. Well, Josh, listen, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. You, your family. You grew up in Minnesota. We from Chicago, and
Hmm.
it's cold in Chicago. But
Man.
y'all take cold to a whole other level.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, it's like 10 miles north of Minneapolis. I got three brothers, one sister. Um, my dad, he played football at University of Minnesota. He's from Florida. He's from Broward County down there. My mom from like Illinois, Skokie, Chicago area. So they ended up in Minnesota. So I mean, my parents never forced me to hoop. Like my dad never forced me to hoop, but like I remember the little Tikes hoop in the basement. Me and my brothers used to play on that. My older brother, one of my older brothers, he's at Colorado State right now. His name Josiah. He hooping there. He was at Illinois State previously, and then he went the Navy and then JUCO route, and then now he's at Colorado State.
He's out there
Funny enough,
hooping
yeah, he
with
he the one who
Coach
really.
Nico.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
Coach Nico
I know
Medved.
Coach
Yeah.
Nico. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. So he hooping out there, and he the one who really, what I'm saying, was like the blueprint to the basketball end. And my older brother, who like my oldest brother above him, he's actually a lawyer. So I kind of combined both of their blueprints and kind of embodied that. But yeah, I grew up, came up in Brooklyn Park. Um, I went to my undergrad, this D2 school up in Minnesota. It was like 2 hours from where I lived. Um, and I ended up graduating there in 2 years. I did like this dual enrollment thing in high school, where I was able to go to like University of Minnesota, the big one. So I was going there as a junior and senior in high school. Ended up coming
So
into my
so
undergrad.
hold on. AG, did you see how he tried to just roll that past us? He
Yeah.
just told us he
Like,
graduated a 4-year institution in 2 years, and he just like you just can't roll past that, Doc. I mean, what were you studying?
So, like in Minnesota, one thing about Minnesota, they got a really good education like infrastructure. So I was able to get like I came into my undergrad with like 60 credits because I did like 60 credits my junior and senior year of high school. Ended up graduating. So that's what kind of positioned me to graduate. And then from there, got accepted into Howard Law, and that's kind of how that worked out. So I played as a true freshman, a true sophomore, had 2 years left of eligibility,
mm,
got into Howard Law School. So that kind of positioned me now. So now I'm hoping for Howard and going to the law school. I got 1 year left after this year. Law school is 3 years, so the first 2 years I'll be hooping, and then the last year I'll be done. But it's been a blessing, bro. One thing I can say is like God really ordained all this to happen. Grew up in the church with my parents, and I'm glad I'm able to kind of experience God for myself now that I'm out in the real world. And I'm like my testimony, my life is really a testament to everything He's done in my life. So that's just a brief rundown. There's more to it, like with my parents and how I grew up. Especially like when I talk about why I'm interested in the law. Like my parents, they got a nonprofit organization.
mm,
It's a ministry where they go into prisons, then they teach parenting classes, and then they work with the kids of the incarcerated parents, and then work with the parents once they get out, get them re-entered into society. Because we
mm,
know like that's a demographic that we condemn. Like once you go to
yeah.
jail, you get caught up in the system.
Yeah.
Ain't too much for you, especially when you get out. It's like how can we reacclimate to society? They don't really got much support. So my parents been doing that faithfully, like for they probably like 27 years into that,
Wow.
Wow.
What's
and
the name of the
it's all been
organization?
parenting with purpose. So it's like PWP is the acronym. So yeah, y'all definitely make sure to check them out. Everybody tuning in. We can always use support, but they've been faithful to it, and their faith in that has kind of been trickle down to me, and just
Yeah.
seeing having exposure to that where you can like see how the system's working early on.
Mm-hmm.
Once you internalize those things and you kind of see things, in society, you kind of say like, okay, some work needs to be done, and that kind of like even in my older brother, that's what kind of inspired him to go to law school, and it kind of trickled down to me.
So, man, let me ask you this though: how you? Because most athletes, I mean, most student athletes ain't thinking about fast tracking their educational career. Like, where did that thought process come in at, even to say, I'm finna go graduate in 2 years, and then I'm gonna jump on to law school and just fast track everything, like get there quicker. When did that set in?
I think it was just it's funny because I think it was just me personally just seeing that I didn't want anything to slow myself down. Like I wanted to be able to take advantage of everything I could. When I was getting recruited out of high school, like I told my coaches recruiting me, like don't slow down my credits. Like if I'm coming to your school, I want to be able to, keep at this pace I'm on. And it wasn't even like I never went to school with the intent to transfer. I just wanted to graduate in 2 years. So I was going to say like I want to graduate in 2 years and then
Mm,
reevaluate from there. If I could do a grad program, get my grad school paid for. That's really what it was too. It was like if I could get a 4 year scholarship, get as many degrees as possible, kind of position myself for success. And then it's eventually matriculated to me wanting to go to law school. Just a lot of prayer, a lot of things falling into place, and that's kind of how that happened. But I think the fast track sort of thing, that's something I feel like been internal with me. Like even my brother, my family, they're like, slow down, you got time, you're young, and I get that, but it's also like part of me always wants to kind of go, go, go. So now I'm learning to like find that balance, but that's kind of where that came from.
and you know what too though? I gotta ask you, what classes was you taking? Don't tell me you was. I had lunch, I had reading, I had.
I don't think he had
Hey
any of
man,
those.
hey man. So I mean, you got to be taking some serious classes, like them hours that you're accumulating. That wherever you go from there, they're gonna follow you. And
Hmm.
I know the counselors looking at you, looking at your paperwork, like, damn, this dude already got fucking
Yeah.
what the hell, like shit.
Now, yeah, I think I mean, I kind of I would look ahead, so I would see like the schools that were recruiting me. Like I remember I was grinding on this. The schools that were recruiting me, I was seeing like what credits they had for the major I wanted to get into. Like if I wanted to go, I was kind of interested in business. At first it was like political science, but I was like, man, I'm not trying to be a teacher. No disrespect to people who in political science, but
Mm-hmm.
I kind of I fell in love a little bit with entrepreneurship and business. So all the schools who were recruiting me, I'm looking at their programs and seeing what classes they require, and I'm putting there's like this one website you can see like if it transfers like what classes transfer to that. So I like transferred them back to my school to see what schools or what classes I had to take, and kind of did it from
Mm,
that. So I was able to kind of use the resources that were available. It's kind of something that I kind of just found out on my own. It's like if
wow.
I got this ability to take college classes as a high schooler, I want them to mean something. I don't want to have all these credits that I got college classes for free, but they
Mm-hmm.
ain't going nowhere. So that's
Right.
something that's I was intentional behind that.
Let
That's
me ask you
awesome,
this, man.
though.
You talked about AG asked you about fast tracking, but I wanna expand a little bit on that too, because you was going to the university while you was in high school. Um, where did you get that focus from? Is that mom? Is that dad? Or or was this something internal that you were doing where you're saying to myself, I got to find my niche? And here's my question for you: to be different than your brothers. Was this saying, okay, my brother, man, they great at this, they're doing that. This is my niche here. I'm on because you said
Mm,
earlier you took the basketball, then the other one you took law from him.
yeah,
You combined them, but was this some way you internalized your greatness and your role in your family?
I think it comes from my parents. One thing they did is they spoke power to us, like they spoke greatness into us. Like my dad would always tell me, like you're gonna do great things, and I'm young. I'm not really knowing what he mean by that. Now that I'm older, I tell him all the time, it's like not everybody has that. Like as a child, you don't know when someone's speaking powerful things to you. Like your spirit is resting with that, whether you know it or not. So my dad, my parents been saying stuff like that to me. Is like you're anointed to do great things. You can do great things. And I kind of saw that like as a standard. Like I'm seeing my brother do great things, no matter what field it's in. Like I'm seeing them do great things. So I'm like, if I'm gonna do something, I'm like, I got to be the best at it. Like, why not sell myself short? Because I know, my dad telling me I could do this, man. No one else can tell me I can't. You know what I'm saying? So it came from that. It's like, I'm seeing what because funny enough, my brother my oldest brother, he did a similar program where he did college classes in high school, but he did like a part time thing. So
Okay.
I'm like, man, let me do the full time one. So it's like stuff like that. Like let me take it to the next level.
Mm,
So I think it was. it was kind of an internalized expectation based off of what my parents spoke to me. Like my parents is telling me, like imagine if someone is saying something to you, it's like you're gonna be great, you're gonna be great. Like if I don't end up being great, it's like man, like I'm letting them down. Like I gotta believe if they believe in me, I gotta believe in myself.
Yeah.
So that's kind of early
So you
on
trying to
that
tell
that's
me, Josh, there wasn't no competitive nature in that at
oh
all?
no no
No.
no nah there definitely was that. Cause I remember I took my ACT or like my or whatever is like the entrance to get into undergrad. I think we took ACTs. My brother got like a 35, and that's or no he got a 34 or something. And my first one I got a 32, and I was a sophomore, and he did it like a junior. So mind you, with a 32, you can get almost anywhere you want to
Mm-hmm.
go.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you know what? Let me take it again. Let me take it again. So I beat him. I beat him by 1 point, and I was bragging about it for a minute. So then, to law school, you gotta do a similar thing. You gotta take the LSAT, which is like the entrance exam, and he beat me on that one. But that's one I'm not trying to take again. Like that, that joker was serious.
Give us them scores, man. What was that
He
law?
got he got I think he got like 168 something, and I got like the low 160s.
Mm.
So
Let me
yeah
let me throw a
he
fun
got me.
fact at you. Years ago, when I came out of college, I actually wanted to be a lawyer. I went and took the LSAT, got a 155.
You could have came to Howard, brother. Could have came to got your story. Tell me
You know
hoop
what's
dreams.
interesting? I
You know
was
what
gonna
I'm saying?
stay up at Marquette because Marquette actually had in Milwaukee, when you graduate, you can walk into practicing law right away. But it also
Okay.
transferred to Illinois.
Mm,
So so I didn't have to take the lawyer's test once
mm,
you finished at Marquette because it's built into the program.
okay. Nah,
So
Mm.
that's
so
tough.
yeah.
What?
So but you know,
Let me ask you this, Jay. What specific law are you interested in?
Yeah. So I'm definitely. It's kind of been like a sort of like a development. Like everybody who goes to Howard, I don't want to say everyone, but like the typical Howard lawyer, they come in thinking like civil rights. I want to be civil rights. And then you kind of it's funny like the joke is you come out going corporate because they kind of teach us there's a lot more to it than just like we need people everywhere. We need people in civil rights, we need people in government, we need people in corporate spaces.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gravitating more towards the corporate space because we've learned so far like how our people have been excluded from that space, and these spaces are where like wealth is generated, this is where wealth is created, this is where wealth is protected, and over time the law itself has been used to exclude our people from those spaces. So that's why I want to do my do my due diligence and get into that space
Mm-hmm.
to represent my people. So that's where I'm leaning towards working in a firm, and then leaving my legacy at that firm. And of course it kind of I always submit to what God has planned for me. So,
Mm-hmm.
whatever God tells me to go, I'm there for as long as God wants me to be. So I don't ever go with a place like there's an issue with our community specifically in law is like when we go to corporate spaces, we say, oh, I'm gonna go there for 3 to 5 years. I'm gonna get my money and I'm gonna leave.
Right.
And when you think like that, that's like nothing's really changing. Like the institution's still in place because we're leaving a firm before we get a chance to make the decisions for real. Like we leaving when we're associates. We're not
Yeah.
leaving. We're not making partner. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, I'm at the point where it's like I'm trusting God with everything, but it's definitely right now He's kind of pushing me towards that corporate law lane.
That's what's
man, I'm
up.
telling you, Doc, just hearing you, man, I'm sitting over here smiling because you're on the plan and you're following it. Uh, I want to veer a little bit into basketball because um, you had Howard, Brand Jordan, the first HBCU to be representative on that level. Uh, so I gotta ask, man, what the team rocking?
Oh, they be giving us some gear here and there. Our coaches kind of be stingy with it, but that's my guy, Coach Ty. Shout out Coach Ty. He don't be saying they just what I'm saying like it's almost like with great power comes great responsibility. Like they just making sure not no extra gear floating around. So I respect them for that. But they slid us some like some retros here and there, which been cool. We get like the player exclusives of like some of the like the Lukas, the Zions. They all cool. Like the gear itself is really cool. It's really just an honor, really. Like you said, to be HBCU to represent Jordan. It kind of puts a target on your back too. Like when we playing games, it's like they got all the nice, like you know how it is, like with Howard, like they got all the nice stuff.
Yeah.
So just being conscious of that and not letting like we got all this nice gear, we can't let that mean nothing. At the end of the day, we got hoop. So it's definitely smooth to have the gear, but with that comes this idea like we got to represent.
So it's safe to say, if we see some Jordans on Stock X, we know where they came from. If they
Hey,
got the HU on, I'm just saying.
nah, the coaches hate when we sell gear. You know what I'm saying? I ain't selling. I ain't getting in no trouble with nobody. Like they give me the gear, I'm keeping it. Nah, I'm
I
not
know
selling it.
that's right.
Not selling
I
it.
know that's
Yeah,
right.
give it to my brothers or something.
I was gonna tell them I used to look at dudes when they had the fresh uniforms on and they names on the back of it. I used to look at them like this.
You got to. You got to.
They
That's
got their
right.
names on
That's
the
right.
back of their shit. Look at
Yeah, this is my
just
first year having
plain.
my name on the back. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
just
blank my
plain.
first 2 years. Yeah,
That's
now I got
right.
my name on the back.
But but talk to us a little bit, man, about, because again, you've been doing so many incredible things, hooping and going to law school. But his was really also impactful, particularly for a younger audience too, man. You made this huge jump from D2 to D1. What's the
Yeah,
difference in that in
yeah.
Yeah.
that level?
Yeah. From an honest perspective, like a lot of it's the athleticism and the length, and that's like a typical answer, but that's true. Like at the end of the day, you still got to score and you got to get stops. Especially in our conference, like it's up and down. There's a lot of athleticism. There's a lot of like you just got to be tough. Um, and in the D2 conference I was in, like not like looking back, like this year they loaded, and it's always been loaded. Like when I was there, so it prepared me well because it's high level basketball. Like it don't matter what level for real. Like of course
Hmm.
like I feel like it's a bigger jump once you get to like Power Five to like what I'm saying. Like the parity, it's not the same as like football, for instance. Like basketball is like and there's a saying too, especially if you're a guard. Like there's guards everywhere. Like
Yeah.
it's a matter of like that they're gonna find you. Um, so the biggest thing, the length, the athleticism, but at the end of the day, it's just getting buckets and getting stops. And my brother division Ben D1, so it's like I have that measuring stick every summer when I'm working out, and he telling me like, bro, you can play at this level. Like it's a matter of waiting for your opportunity if that's what you want to do. But like when I was getting recruited, like I had one D1 offer from Army West Point when I was in high school, and I guess the benefit of having an older brother who went through the process is like you want to go where you're wanted most. And Army, they wanted me, but also my first offer was the school I ended up committing to, and they told me that's why like they wanted to be the first one to offer because when I started, my senior years when I really popped off, and then some schools hopped on late.
Mm.
I never forgot the fact that they met me, at a point where they saw what I saw in myself.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
so that's the route I took, and I mean, it served me well. At the end of the day, to work on show, like that's the biggest thing I've learned is like everywhere seeing my brother hoop and seeing myself hoop is like I'm not tall, I'm 6 foot with shoes.
Yeah.
I can't jump out the gym. Can't jump out the gym, but it's like
That's
at the end
what's
of the
up.
day, if you're working, like the work on show.
I'm loving that. Who did you pattern your game after? Like, obviously when I was coming up, man, Agee, Isaiah Thomas, I love Jordan, Dr. J, those types of guys. When folks see Josh out there hooping, who are you patterning your game after?
I think my favorite player is Dame Lillard, and I kind of resonate with him like as a leader more than anything, and the fact he can shoot the ball so well. Like when you see me play, I'm not like shooting. I don't have that usage that Dame has. Like I'm shooting from where he's shooting from, but I don't got the usage where I'm what I'm saying, have the ball in my hands every possession. But
Right.
picking from like some of the guards, like some of the best guards in the league, even like Tyrese Maxey early on when he was a rookie, like coming off the bench and how he picked his spots, like finding players like that. Like now that I'm older, that's who I kind of look to. But like when I was younger, like Dame, AI, them is my two favorite players of all time. So that's
Hmm.
what I think is like who really made me fall in love with the game. It was Allen Iverson and Dame Lillard, and Dame's still my dude to this day. I feel like Dame don't get this credit he deserves, but
Yeah.
he gonna get this ring this year and show everybody. That's a conversation for another day. But
Yeah.
definitely them two. And that's what I would say.
Did you hear that, AG?
Yeah. I
His
heard.
home team is having the
I
best
heard
year
him.
they done had in the
They
last.
are. I'm not. I ain't a Wolves fan though. If everybody knows me, I'm not a Wolves fan. I'm not a Wolves
What?
fan. I'm a Dame fan through and through. I'm a Dame
Ain't
fan.
no
I'm a Knicks
Wolves
fan.
fan.
Really?
I'm a
Really?
Dame fan and a Knicks fan. Yeah.
Your home team. They got
Nah,
listen, that boy Anthony
nah.
Edwards is
They
next
serious.
level.
Nah, them boys serious. And my oldest brother, he Minnesota sports through and through. Like he even when they was sucking, he Minnesota sports through and through. I'm like, yeah,
That's,
bro. They
Hey,
I
Andy
ain't
Edwards
mad at
serious
him
though.
though.
hey Jay, you know our boy. Really, he grew up in the Greens in Cabrini Green with Will. It's like Will little brother, but I know him too. His name's Sam Willis, and he has a restaurant called Just Turkey in Minnesota. You ever
Okay,
heard of that
that's
spot?
what's up. Nah, I ain't been back in a minute though. So, but nah, that's what's up.
Yeah, you got to check him out when you get back.
Yeah, you know where it's at? Like what areas is in Minneapolis?
It is in Minneapolis, and I want to say it's on like Chicago Avenue.
Okay, that's a
So I
bit. I'll
guess that's
definitely
kind
try to
of
tap
like the
in.
downtown area. Actually, I
Yeah,
could
it
tell you
should be.
exactly where it's at, man. This is kind of like because I when the thing that happened to George Floyd,
George
it's
Floyd,
in
yeah,
that
Hmm.
it's in that
Okay,
area.
okay, okay. So that's by Lake Street almost.
Yeah, yeah. So man, tell us though. Again, you playing college ball. What's the
Hmm.
season looking like for you guys?
All right, we definitely been up and down. Like I played college basketball for a long time, so at the end of the day, like you just got to hit your stride at the right time. But we
hmm
got a lot of talent. It's just a matter of like being consistent with everything we got to do. Like our coaches gave us the formula. Like we know what it is. Like we're big on doing little things. Like it's not necessarily how much buckets we score. Like it's the
yep,
tangible things we know that we can do, and if we do them well enough, we're gonna win. So we're
yep.
starting to buy into that now. Like we position ourselves well, or position ourselves now. If we win out in the regular season, we got like 7 games left. We win the conference, the regular season, and then our conference tournament. You just got to win 3 games, and if you are the first seed, you get a bye. So it's like at the end of the day, it's 8 teams, one tournament. You string them wins in a row. You dancing in March. So we definitely hitting our stride. We feel like it's there. Like our practice is always competitive. You know what I'm saying? Like our coach played at Duke. We got a coaching staff who played at Duke. From a lot of folks from the DMV area. So like our practices, we bumping it, but it's paying off now. It's paying off.
What
That's big
you
time
know we
now.
got a you know we got a Chicago guard over there at Jackson State named Chase Adams, right?
Man, he worked us.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we played them. We played them in Vegas. He balled out. 'Cause I remember
Really?
when I was young. When I was young, he was like he a little bit older than me. I remember like the middle
Yeah.
school mixtapes and all that. I remember
Yep.
watching that. But
Yeah.
yeah, they beat us that game. But hopefully, I don't know if this is his last year, but I'd love to see them again. Just because Mo Williams coaching there, and I feel
Yep.
like it's always a good battle when you got HBCUs hooping. But nah,
Yep.
he definitely played well.
Yeah.
I want to jump into NIL deals because you're very familiar with that. Um,
Mhm.
my first question for you regarding that is being in law school. What's your thoughts on the NIL deal and how they are currently structured? Do you think it needs to be fixed, or you like it the way that it is?
I think, I think it doesn't need to be fixed. I think there might need to be a little bit more regulation. I think when people think about NIL, they kind of have this misconstrued idea that all these students going to get paid. At the end of the day, it's not. Some people gonna get money, but it's like it just allows the people who are generating a lot of money to start benefiting from that. Like the
Mhm.
people who are gonna benefit, it's not like not all of us gonna get the 6 figure, 4 figure, 5 figure deals. It's like the people who are generating that money and who have been for years and years. Now they can finally get the benefit from that. So I think a lot of education needs to be had. Like not a lot of like almost everybody thinks they're gonna get an NIL deal, but not a lot of people kind of break it down to them. Like nah, like you gotta. It's not just the fact you're an athlete. You gotta show that this company that you gonna translate to money for them. And just because you a D1 athlete, that don't really mean much. Like you gotta be that. You gotta be that dude, or you gotta have some sort of like selling point. So I think
Yeah.
if there was like more regulation in the space, I'm all for the for athletes getting paid, and I think it's glad we took a step. I just wish there was more education so people can have realistic expectations when they go into college, because a lot of kids they're relying on that when that might be a misplaced reliance. It's like, man, put your head
Yeah.
down and work, but the results take care of themselves. But it'll be interesting because I know there was a recent decision with Dartmouth College, or I don't know if that's the proper name, but their university is recognizing the basketball players as employees. So that's going to be to see how that turns out. To see how that turns out, that might shake up the room a lot more than this NIL stuff will.
So let me
That's
let me
gonna be
ask you this
huge.
on the keeping staying with the NIL deal. If Howard University sells your jersey number but don't put your name on it, are they obligated to now because how things are they obligated to say, hey, Mr. Joshua, we sold this many of X amount of jerseys through the whole year. Here's a check.
I think I don't know like the specifics of the laws behind it. I do know that like our 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 program, they kind of set up an infrastructure for that to happen. So they'll like
Gotcha.
give us a link to sell that stuff out, and then like you get a bump back or you get the money from whatever. I don't know exactly how it works, but like I'm one thing I'm appreciative of Howard is they try to have this framework, and a lot of universities do have it. They try to have like a
Mm-hmm.
collective or some sort of thing where the students can get paid, and it's not just like, oh, you getting paid $20 for this post, you getting like, and all that stuff is cool, but when it's a lot more organized, then you feel a lot more security in that.
And I've also seen schools. I know I've seen a lot of schools where they also too, like if AG and I, if we wanted to just sponsor the NIL, we can put
Yep.
money into that program, and the school themselves would disperse it to you guys as well. I like that aspect of it too. But tell us the NIL deals you got, man, because I know you got some.
Now it's not even too crazy. I think some of my people in my corner trying to tell me like get some things going a little bit. But even
Mm-hmm.
when I came to Howard, I told them I was like I told our basketball ops guys like, man, I'm here to hoop and go to school. I know stuff will come in, but I'm trying to put my head down on work. And I know people are like, man, get your money. The money gonna come. I trust God. The money's gonna come. But we did just work something out with a couple players on our team, and one of them was me with Lemon Perfect. I actually got the bottle right here, free plug.
All
but
right.
What is that? Is that a drink? Like is that a
yeah,
red?
it's a drink. It's a
Oh,
hydration drink. Like
okay.
it's one of my favorite drinks personally. So they sent me out some stuff. I'm working with one of my mans. He's kind of trying to orchestrate some things behind the scenes. I got Willard Brown, if that name rings a bell.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of
Mm-hmm.
helping me out. But the biggest thing too is like I know what I'm here for, and God's gonna let those things come as they come. For now, it's just get your grades right, and then do what you got to do on the basketball court, and ultimately just win. That's the biggest thing I'm concerned with.
Yeah.
Let me touch on this a little bit, man. And I just got to put it out here. So let's get back to this Jordan brand a little bit. So at one point, y'all was brand Curry. Jordan
Mm-hmm.
stepped on the scene and just kicked little Riley Curly, Steph Curry out the school, and everybody okay with that. Is that what I'm hearing? Like
I
no,
mean,
no.
I wasn't here. You know what I'm saying? I was here after they was Jordan. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what they had going on before. I know a lot of the players who were there when it was Under Armour, and they're a lot more grateful now because no disrespect to Under Armour, but when you got some Lucas on your feet, that feel a little bit better than some of them Under Armour joints.
I
I
can tell
hear
you
you. I
exactly
hear
what
you.
happened, Will.
What's that?
Michael Jordan sent a few of his goons down there.
They be funny,
Michael
man.
Jordan sent a few of his goons down there, and they cornered the athletic director in his office and said, "Hey, man, you gonna do this deal or what?" And the athletic
That's funny,
director
man.
said,
Listen, I think
"Yeah."
it's a lot easier than that. I think Mike just sent a package. In there was a contract. It said,
Yeah,
"Please sign here with a post-it note." Uh,
So
Mike don't got
let's.
some no goons.
No,
So is it? But let me ask you this though: is the whole school like athletic programs like soccer and
Yeah,
all them other sports sponsored by Jordan too?
I think for the most part it's Jordan. There might be some with Nike. I think golf. I think because Curry has the golf deal. I think with Howard. So I mean, they can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think golf might be with Curry still, but everything else should be Jordan Brand.
Yeah, that golf
and how
team
does
is.
how does that work, man? You
Ugh.
guys, you alluded to this a little earlier that you guys are brand Jordan, and other schools get like upset. Do you feel like that also happens in on campus too? Because y'all the basketball team and y'all
Yeah,
stuff in Slam magazine and Sports Illustrated and welcome to the Jordan family.
Yeah.
I
I mean, I don't see it too much. Granted, I don't be on campus a lot outside of just being in the gym because the Laws campus is separate from the main campus. But
mean,
Mm.
I'm pretty sure like, at the end of the day, we all family. Like if someone from Howard winning, we all winning. But some haters be there. But that's neither here
Yeah.
nor there. They could hoop like if they wanted to.
Hmm.
I know that's right. And we got to talk about Howard just for a little bit longer too, man. I just want to, you know, you got to explain to our audience because it's interesting, man. Growing up, my only understanding of HBCUs was a different world. That was like my intro to like, man. Not only did I want to go to college, I wanted to go to an HBCU, but of course the athletic programs couldn't compete with the bigger programs like a Marquette. So that kind of made the
Hmm.
choice for me. But uh, how has that been for you being on not just what is represented historically black colleges and university, but being on a college that is seen that is predominantly dominated by African Americans? How's that been for you?
I
Yeah,
think, bro.
and their nickname is Chocolate City. Go ahead.
Now it's definitely one of the things that I resonated with most when I came here because I came from a PWI, and one thing about like especially at the law school, like Thurgood Marshall was in this law school, like he was sitting in the same classroom that I'm sitting in now. So like that
Hmm.
that power in
Hmm.
itself is like you almost feel like a responsibility, like I can't let this go to waste. And then like you're seeing your professors are black. You know what I'm saying? These people been on the biggest cases, been in the biggest trials, you know what I'm saying, been on the biggest deals, and they teaching me the law and I can learn from them. Like seeing the resume of all like our faculty and all the staff at Howard Law School, that in itself is like, yo, like this is something special. And then, main campus in itself, like you can feel it, especially with like the Greek presence there, like you can feel like the power that's within the space. And that's something you don't always get. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the classroom. Like I took a picture the other day. It's like, yo, like if my ancestors could see this now, like in this classroom, we got like 60 future lawyers in this space. Like that's power. That's like a powerful image to me. So it's something that I really appreciate, just being able to be in that space and grow with people who are, accomplished and they look like myself.
Mm.
See, I would have been in a lot of trouble, and I know you're saying, why would you be in trouble? Because you know where I'm going next, don't you?
I do.
I'm just saying, man, all that beauty walking around on them campus, man, how you handling that?
I mean, I got a lady, and I've been locked in with my woman for a while. She back in Minnesota, but and our relationship's grounded in the Lord, so that kind of keeps, what I'm saying, all the extracurriculars
What?
is good. Nah,
What?
you know what I'm saying? It's there for people who want to indulge,
Well,
but
I'm
I'm
only saying
focused.
that because I'm gonna put it out there, Josh, because I know I'm a little bit older. I can take the fall back on it. But there's a difference when you be at a PWI
That's true.
and you on HU campus. I mean,
Hey
that's a
man, it's only
difference.
hard. It's only hard if you make it hard on yourself. That's one thing I like. If you let that temptation come in, then that's on you, brother. Like if
Well, I
you
ain't
stay
talking about the
locked in,
temptation. I'm just talking about enjoying the the atmosphere,
that's
enjoying
true.
the view,
Yeah.
I
walking
get what you're
past.
saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
it's
nah, I
like,
get what you're saying. But part of it too is like, I mean, my schedule is so regimented too. On top of that, is like, I gotta get to where I gotta go. And people have been telling me about this, like, bro, like, it's gonna be difficult. I'm like, man, I've been, what I'm saying? Once you locked in so much to a certain thing, you can't really, what I'm saying, deviate too far from that. So when I know I gotta go to practice. I gotta work out at 6, practice at 7, get to get to class by 9:30, and
Hmm.
like that's my day. It's very regimented, and I know, what I'm saying. Like my homies, you know what I'm saying? They enjoy the beauty. And I'm glad for them. More proud to them, to those brothers. But
no,
I'm
actually,
locked in.
man, I appreciate uh, your relationship and your foundation being built, and the Lord. I think that has
Hmm.
been the testament to your journey and even why you are where you are. So, man, I feel your spirit. Um, I got a last question that my man Agee gonna ask you with the last question. Um, my last question for you is for um, younger students coming up. What's
Hmm.
your advice to them? when people ask you to speak, what are you sharing with folks these days?
I think a lot of it too is like you gotta. I say those words a lot in this interview, like this idea of power. Like you gotta realize what you got within you, and I feel like God's truly called all of us to do great things. It just manifests in different ways, but you can't be your own inhibitor. You gotta know what's in your like. If you don't believe in yourself, it's a lot harder to over, especially if you're a person of color. It's a lot harder to overcome, all these obstacles we have in front of us. So I would say, like, I would speak power to them the same way my parents speak to me. Is like, you are powerful. Like, what you can do, the potential you have, you can change the world if what I'm saying, do what you got to do. And that's not to turn a blind eye to all the BS that's in front of them, like in terms of all these obstacles, but it's saying like in the midst of that, I believe my God is greater to surmount all of that, and I believe He's put that in yourself. So that's what I would say, to and it's not even just people of color; it's all people because everybody got whatever they got going on. But one thing too is like you got, just something I'm learning is like not everybody's ready to hear that, like from a spiritual perspective. So a lot of times that translates into me saying like, you know what, like just keep working, put your head down, keep working, because at the end of the day, if you work, you're investing in yourself, and that investment is gonna pay dividends in the end.
Yeah, most
I
definitely.
love that, boy. Man, I love that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's I mean, you gotta have. I mean, I always say you gotta have these three things to like really like propel you from distractions, anything that's trying to knock you off your focus. Is first you gotta have that self motivation. Like, can't
Hmm.
nobody. You gotta have self motivation. Like, if you ain't up and clapping for yourself and rocking for yourself and knowing that I can self motivate myself to go up and get up and complete the tasks that need to be done. And then the other one is structure. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a positive, good structure that you commit to. And then it's all about discipline. How disciplined are you in completing those tasks? You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna
Hmm.
get halfway through it and say, "Oh shit, I want to go get something to eat. I know I'm supposed to, complete this, but let me, try to." No, you got to stay disciplined on it, dude.
Hmm.
I had all that when I was 14 years old. Like I could tell people, like, dude, like I rode a bike from the city of Chicago. Like, people didn't want it that bad. And I
Hmm.
could tell that because they wouldn't do certain things to get it. You know what I'm saying? But I was
Yeah,
like, shit, my boy out there playing freshman on the varsity team. Shit,
yeah,
hell yeah, I want that. I'm
yep,
riding this bike out to school
yep.
every morning. Like, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So within that, what my last question to you is, Joshua Strong, what is the next chapter that you want to complete in the Joshua Strong Hoop Dreams?
Um, I say immediately I need to get to the national tournament on the D1 level. I got to the Elite Eight at D2, but I want to get to the tournament. I want to win MEAC, which is our conference. I need me a ring. Like we had our ring ceremony for that team last year who won it. I saw
Mm-hmm.
that joker. I was like, yeah, I need me one of them.
Yeah,
Because one thing our coach preaches, like winning gives you access. Like he was at Duke winning rings, and a lot of the stuff we have at Howard stems from that. All the connections he was able to make,
mate.
and
Yep.
I've seen it firsthand. Like when you win, especially with how much money is in this space, once you win, you got a lot more access, and that's the biggest thing. Like I love winning. I'm a competitor at the end of the day. So I just, what I'm saying, in this last year, staying healthy and then winning.
That's what's up, man. I like what you said too about the about the team that y'all focus on. You know, the little things. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
boxing out on every damn
Yep.
possession. Like, don't
Yep.
take a play
Deflections.
off.
Yep.
Like, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like, don't take a play off. Like, people don't, like, we used to count deflections
Yep.
at my
Yep.
junior college that I went to.
Yeah.
Like, if you ain't getting no deflections, oh, you was getting called out about that. Like,
Yep.
if you ain't diving on the floor, if you ain't boxing
Yep.
your man out, I'm talking about on every fucking play, every second of the game while you out there. Like, you got to
Hmm.
be committed and focused to that shit. And if you ain't, the coaches will know. Like they would know. And it's up to the PG to send that message to keep them
Yeah.
guys out there on the floor. Hey man, what's up, man? Come on, man, let's go. You let this big motherfucker come over your back and box that motherfucker out. Like, come
Hmm.
on.
Yeah. It sounds like you
Yeah.
play at Howard.
Yeah.
It sounds like you play at Howard. That's what we be on. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we be on.
Man, you know what I forgot to ask you? I forgot to ask you, when you were in practice, did the guys tease you
Yeah, they be
about being
joking,
so
but
smart? I'm just saying.
yeah, nah,
You know?
they definitely be joking. You know, like it's funny because like our team, we got a lot of unique stories. Like we got Seth Towns, and he like the old head of college basketball right now. So they be clowning him, they be clowning me. It's fun because I gotta leave practice I gotta leave practice like 20 minutes early a lot of the days to get to class on time. They be like, "Oh, there he go, there he go again." So because they know what I got going on, but they also know like when I'm trying to hoop, like that's my safe space from law school. Is like when I'm here to hoop, I'm here to hoop,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one thing too. Like that's people kind of get lost in it. Like I do have a lot going on for myself, but I'm a basketball player. I'm a competitor. So when basketball not going good, I'm not happy. And I know
Hey,
that's not
I know
necessarily
that's
healthy,
right.
but that's just real. It's like
I, wa- I,
That's your
wa-
love.
I
That's your
actually
I
love.
want
just
I
love
actually
hooping.
want to ask you this about the parenting with a purpose. Over the years since your parents to have that organization, how many parents and kids, how many families you think they have helped come from here and go to here?
Bro, it's I can't even give you a number because they've been going at it for so long, and like some of these events be so many people. I'd say I can't even give a number. I just know it's you can't put a number on it.
Can't
Like
put a
and
number on it. Yeah,
when you hear these stories from these people, like it's an
yeah,
invaluable impact. And I think my parents are so modest and they're so humble; they'll never take credit for it. They'll never step back and look at what they did for these people. But I can see it.
mm,
Like my people can see it. It's like, and when I was younger, I used to hear how people would talk about my parents, and I'm just saying like, oh, they just talking. And now when I get older, it's like, yo, like the stuff my parents are doing, that's where it's like when people say you're doing great things, it's like, man, look at them, look what they did. Like they set the
yeah.
tone, and when they set that type of tone and they obey, they got in that respect. Look at the seed that follows. So I think, if anything, their testimony is just that I'm their testimony, and what they got going on, that's for the world to see.
Joshua, how can people find you, man? What's your handles?
My Instagram is Shua SHOEUH. My Twitter or X, whatever it is, JStrong_0. Them is the two I'm mainly on. My Snapchat's the same as my Instagram. I'm verified on that, but I don't be using it that much. I got me locked in. But them is my three main ones. I appreciate y'all having me on. It's really an honor because although I haven't seen Hoop Dreams in a minute, I know the culture y'all represent. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all names ring bells and y'all names open doors. So I appreciate y'all having me on it.